Vin Yang says, I hope I pronounce your name properly, a monotone voice actually comes from a monotone body. Your body is connected to your voice, and your voice is connected to your body. Well, he's absolutely right. But what does he mean? What does he mean by that? Sound is energy. Sound is energy. We need our bodies to create that energy. The sound from our voice comes from the resonance of our vocal folds here. Now, without the correct pressure, which is called subglottal pressure, just under the vocal folds or chords, the sound isn't going to happen. So it will just be what's called an unvoiced sound. It would just be breath. It would just be air. So if I was speaking like that, if I was whispering, hopefully you can hear me if I'm whispering, then that's all you're going to hear. Some people with very terrible muscle dysphonia problems sound like that, unfortunately. But what we need to do is we need to try this. Shh. This is called a fricative. We're controlling the pressure, okay? I want you to go from here, shh, to shh. So any sound that has, any word that has sh, like Asia in, for instance, so the sh of Asia. Shh. Can you feel the resonance here? Now, if we just take a breath, so this is the sound, this is what makes the sound, the phonation is from the vocal folds, but we need to use our body to create the energy that we need to communicate. We first need to create sound from here, and then from there, an open tone. From there, we use our articulators, which are our teeth, our tongue, our lips, and our hard palate. And the combination of those create speech, create the words and the sentences that we need to communicate our message. However, if we're not creating enough energy, it's going to be dull. So if I ask you to take a breath and let it out with a sigh, now without any energy there, it's going to sound like this. It's going to sound very, very boring, and I'm doing a presentation now, and this is the presentation. Now, most of you are probably gone by now because I'm being incredibly boring. So I've got to find the energy. Where do I find the energy? I need to use the breath. I need to first take a breath in, and I need to control the rate of breath out. And I need to put more energy. So for instance, let's do this. Let's stand up. Okay, I've just realized I've got some shorts on, but it doesn't matter because it's sort of near the end of summer here in the UK. Here we go. So we're going to stand up, and instead of just the sigh out, I want you to jump up and down. So watch me. Here we go. Hopefully you can hear me. If you can't hear me, then I'm not particularly very good. I'm going to leave this here. No, I don't care. I've got the shorts on. Here we go. Right. So I want you to jump up and down. Can you still see me? Here we go. We're going to jump. As you're doing that, I want you to let the sound out. So we're going to, or even just a sigh. Take a breath. Just by moving your body excites the breath and changes the dynamic range and also some of the pitch range as well. So your pitch range can change the dynamic range. The dynamics is the louds and the softs of your speech. If you want to learn how to avoid a monotonous voice, the first thing to do is put some energy before the speech. So that requires breath. It requires energy from your body. And what we're doing actually is by jumping up and down, we're engaging the abdominal muscles at the bottom here. We're engaging these muscles. The whole of your body is pushing the air out of the lungs. And you can control that by doing this very simple exercise. So we're going to do that now, it's called a fricative. And a fricative is something that controls the amount of air. So, for instance, that one we did before, which is a shh. Put your finger here, shh, shh. You should feel your diaphragm moving up. And this is your abdominal muscles pushing your diaphragm up and in. Shh. I want you to hold that, but do it on a voiced fricative like this. Shh. Loads of energy. So loads of energy from here. Keep that going. Keep the energy going as you're speaking. And the more energy, the more you can control the sound. You might want to speak very quietly. You might not want to speak loudly, but there's energy there. Even though I'm speaking quietly, my body is creating energy. My body is allowing my face to be passionate. I can speak loudly if I want to. I can speak loudly and keep my face very serious. It can still be serious and I'm speaking very loudly, but I don't want to do that. My facial expression has to match the energy. I might want to speak much more calmly, like a news presenter, and just convey the news in a very civil manner. Whatever you decide the intention of your speech is going to convey, that still needs a certain type of energy. And you can control that energy from the abdominal muscle. So try that. Use the breath, control the amount of breath, and use your abdominal support. I have lots of videos on the YouTube channel about breathing exercises, but the energy comes from your body. More energy is going to increase your pitch range. Here's another exercise I'd like to give you now. I'm going to calm down now and change the pace of my speech because I want to get into more of an educational, more academic side of things. I'm very hyped up today. I've got lots of things to do and I want to get this information out to you quickly. It's important, very important. So here's the other exercise. It's about intonation. So I want you to think of a phrase, any phrase at all. It might be, I've had too much coffee. Now imagine that you're a guitarist, you're a rock guitarist. This is a rock guitarist. Here we go. We're going to do some hammering. As you can see, I don't play guitar. So rock guitarist, and I want you to imagine that you're playing that sound. So let's just take a phrase, any short phrase, I've had too much coffee. So something could be, so I've had too much coffee. Happens to be a wah-wah pedal on mine, so I'm going crazy now. Join with me. Now, I want you to think about that phrase as you've got your mouth closed, and I want you to say the phrase normally. So I would be, I've had too much coffee. Now, if you just come into this particular part of the video, you might think I'm slightly weird. That's absolutely fine. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to exaggerate the high pitches and exaggerate the low pitches. So if you're going high, I want you to go, So the whole thing is expanded. So if you go high, go much higher. If you go much lower, if you go low, go much lower. I drink too much coffee. You don't have to sing it. I just like singing. I'm a singer. I just drink too much coffee. Kind of some kind of spiritual gospel sound. Don't know why. It's just the way I roll. Now a little bit higher. And a little bit lower. Now just say it normally. I drink far too much coffee. I drink too much coffee. I drink too much coffee. I drink too much coffee. And play around with it. So that can be translated to any presentation, an excerpt or sentence of your presentation or pitch. Think about how you can extend your pitch range, your intonation. I'd like to give you one more exercise, so don't go anywhere. Don't go away. Don't go anywhere at all. Focus, listen, concentrate. Before I do that, I'd like you to consider subscribing. I'd like you to consider joining the mailing list I have, and I want to give you lots of tools and new videos, show you about new programs coming up. I've got loads of ideas of online material, online programs. Free training is coming up at the moment. I'm working on that. Also, fill out the scorecard. So the scorecard is a link on the description. Will show you where your voice is now, where you are with your anxiety to speak and where you are with your voice. Just fill it, 12, 16 questions, something like that. Very simple. It's free. I'm the only person that looks at it. I might send you an email and get in touch and say, hi, would you like to speak about this further? Maybe try this course, maybe have a chat one-to-one with me, something like that. So fill the scorecard, join the mailing list, subscribe to the channel. If you're an English speaker, you'll be used to packaging phrases. So you're used to thinking about short phrases that you say with a different intonation or a different tone of voice. So for instance, if I use my intro, hi, my name is Jimmy Cannon. I'm a public speaking coach and I help people who aren't necessarily comfortable in their voice find the authenticity to communicate their message. Now, there's 3 areas there. Hi, I'm Jimmy Cannon is my name. It's a definite sort of confirmation of who I am. Hi, I'm Jimmy Cannon. The next one is slight change of tone of voice and maybe intonation as well. And what is my role? My role is I'm a public speaking coach. So, hi, I'm Jimmy Cannon and I'm a public speaking coach. So it's a statement. Hi, I'm Jimmy Cannon. I'm introducing myself. I'm a public speaking coach is a statement. It also tells you what I do. And then the third thing is how I do that. So I help people, and my tone of voice might soften slightly. So I help people who aren't necessarily comfortable. Can you hear the difference? My voice is wider. It's more chesty. It's more open sounding, as opposed to the beginning, which is, hi, I'm Jimmy Cannon, which is much harder, much more here, much harder throat larynx kind of tone. And then the end is much more chesty. So the whole thing again. Hi, my name is Jimmy Cannon. I'm a public speaking coach. I help people who aren't necessarily comfortable in their voice find the authenticity to express themselves. I change that every time I say it. But there's 3 notes of tone and intonation that you could put into just one long sentence. So think about that and how you might do that maybe for your intro, maybe for your presentation or your pitch. Speak soon.